available, but realistically, looking at where they're going to be going, Norbert again, another entry frag. It shocks to go down. Norbert's been superb so far, and I almost feel like he might be asking for a flash to go through that smoke. He wants to get in more people's faces.
Larson really with a lot to do here, looking to swing the angle long with that AWP, trying to catch somebody out. Will get his opportunity. Norbert goes down, but immediately traded, and that's actually the entirety of the B presence lost for Movistar Riders. They're going to force the rotation. Alex will make his way around, but he's going to be a lone bastion of the defense as everybody on K23 is starting to swing these angles. Alex going straight through the smoke, lines up the first, finds a dink onto Neelan, but can't quite convert. And again, Movistar, this is going to be a very awkward retake because, as you said, they're running out of nades. They haven't actually got any to work with.
Yeah, they've got no nades, no kit, and one of their players doesn't even have armor. I don't know how they're planning on making anything work in this situation. Like, in my eyes, this has to be a save. Clock already ticking to about halfway gone, so unless they're planning on killing everybody in about 5 seconds, I genuinely have no idea how they're planning to get out of this round. So it's just going to end up holding for some exits. The T-side money is actually pretty decent, so removing any guns, okay, sure, it would lower it a little bit, but keeping onto your own are going to be far more important. They do drop Mo on their way out and will be allowed to save. The problem I have with that round is Mopos, someone we normally credit quite heavily when it comes to Movistar Riders, but if you're the lone defender, you've got to be very, very careful in the way that you take those peaks. Like, sure, it was probably just too wide. Like, if you could be headshotted and sprayed down, that's too much. So, bit of a mistake. Gives K23 a 4th round on the T side, and honestly, they're already looking pretty good. Money's getting there, and the T side are going to have to go in with just some pistols and the save weaponry.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they're trying to overcomplicate things too much. Larson on that saved AWP, trying to make an impact early. Can't quite connect his initial shot. We'll need to see a little bit more from him with the pistols to back him up. It really is down to that AWP and steel, admittedly on the M4, but you'd expect the AWP to be the big impact weapon in the round. Alex starting to think about swinging this as Larson posts himself. Kiosk is traded at least for now. 1 for 1. Nice nade to follow up to get more damage onto that CT AWP as he actually looks to re-aggress, trying to take that map control away, aware that he has to be the hero. As Norbert, free bracket control, a pit mini pit setup for the CT side. They do have an M4 over towards this A bomb site in the 4-on-4, but Larson taking more damage, just 7 points of health for the AWP now as he has to back off.
Time's ticking, but additions could make things pretty awkward now that they're surrounding him, but they managed to kill a player as they look to wrap around. The bomb's now pushing in on its own. Neelan just walked into the site with the bomb, and he might actually be able to get it planted. The problem is, he has no support. Like, Mo's not going to be able to do anything here. Steel's now killed him off. It's a very loose round from K23, and they have definitely slipped up. Nice shot from Mo, but chance of him winning this are slim to none. So with the 2 rifles that they had, an extra that they should be able to pick up if Shox can find a way out of the pit, Movistar have done very well in this round.
Definitely a solid CT defense. I was a little surprised to see Larson getting as aggressive as he was. You pointed out in the pre-game that he's not the most aggressive AWPer in the world, but he seemed very keen to get the job done
in this round.
Yeah, he seemed very keen to get the job done on the AWP and was really making a lot of impact, almost forcing the hand of K23 by getting those picks to re-rotate back towards the A-bomb site, straight into the grasp of Steel on that saved M4A4. Does a fantastic job of getting one. And then, yeah, I mean, Neelan solo pushing into the site doesn't feel like it's a good idea under pretty much any circumstances, so he gets taken down. Mo manages to save, will mean they can get the buyout, will mean they can still hold on to that AWP for K23, but it looks like there's going to be some more contest towards Banana coming into this one.
And double Molotov actually into the top of Banana as well, really wanting to try and deny the CT side from getting any further aggression. They are going to continue to push. Nice work from Mopos. This time he's successful. Catches an aid in response. And Shox, in the meantime, has gone aggressive and manages to find a multi-frag alongside his in-game leader. Mo, again, just left alone, trying to hold the angle as this whole team have fallen. And this is actually quite a surprising round from Movistar. Normally, when you aggress on to Banana, you're a bit more passive on other portions of the map. You're a bit more conservative, trying to make sure that you don't lose up too much map control. But they actually took both. They went, okay, we're going to get apartments and we're going to take banana, not really allowing K23 any space. And, well, if you then win all of your duels, you are laughing. So, bit of an issue for the side of K23. But I like that from Movistar. Like, being proactive. I think as well, if you watch Steel and Shocks on multiple different maps, they are a very good duo, especially if you watch a game of Vertigo with them. They will consistently be taking aggressive pushes over to the B side. So I like them playing together. The only thing that's curious is if that will work more than once. Because, as said, a lot of the time, if you're going to be that aggressive, say, for example, K23 go, okay, we're going to try and take apartments, chances are those two players are going to suffer.
Yeah, it definitely did feel like first time they've tried it, caught a player off guard. You saw that apartments peak, the T side, they were clearing it into Boiler without necessarily clearing the apps on the basis that with that B aggression, as you said, there wouldn't be as much proactive play from the CT side over towards A. Works out perfectly for now. It's going to be a question of can they continue to make it work, or will K23 start clearing their angles? Odds starting to balance out a little bit. K23 looking a little bit wobbly in places. And I think Movistar have definitely got an opportunity to start really piling that pressure on now. The buy not going to be good. Mo with the saved AWP, of course, but just the one deagle and 3 default pistols now for K23. So an opportunity for that CT side to start consolidating.
Yeah, I feel like for Mo to get much done on this T side as a solo AWP is going to be very difficult. And I almost feel like it has to be up from some over-aggressive peaks coming out from the CT side. Now, they have opted to switch Larson over to the B side. He's going to be left as the solo defender. Now, normally in this sort of case, a single flash can be enough to gain banana control. Unfortunately, the T's don't have a single flash. They have one smoke, and now getting past them is going to be very difficult. And actually, the setup for the CT side is kind of weird. They've left Larson there as sort of like, okay, I'm perched up with my AWP, which will make you automatically think there's only going to be one player there. There's actually still 2. They've left Mopos behind as well. Now, in a round like this, they don't really need to gamble stack. They don't really need to go for crazy rotations. They should know that the economy for their opponents is going to be fairly weak. And Keels has just special delivery handed in the bottom. So this round is over. Easy cleanup. Solid stuff from Movistar Riders. And they're going to equalize things. And I'm sure next time the parry match odds come up, it should be fairly even. This time, though, it's going to be Hellcase. Of course, you can get yourself 70 cents for new users or a 15% refill if you click the banner below the stream.
Yeah, beautifully clean round. Movistar not taking any damage at all. I think Mo would have wanted a lot more out of that AWP. He needed to at least find one frag, in my opinion. Any more than that's a bonus, but you've got to be making that AWP work if you're saving it and not getting anything done, allowing the CTs to start building their own economy up and piling the pressure onto your own team. Not ideal, and the buy, not ideal either. Mo dropping down onto the deagle. They do at least get AKs for everybody else as they go for the early bracket control. Not going to be contested too heavily. And again, Movistar going for that same setup of 2 players. This time there's an aggressive hold from Alex with that AWP of Larson to back him up. It's going to be Norbert to draw first blood. Shocks with the pop flash in from Steel, just not quite able to make it work. And there's going to need to be some fairly rapid rotations from the CT side here because they've got no arch control at all. And look at the abuse. Chaos going to get a free pick onto Alex. And now this is looking very rough indeed. Larson, a much needed frag. But Movistar still very much under pressure. It's going to be Mopos playing around the edge of this smoke, but Norbert has been sat in it the whole time. And if he chooses to drop through now, he's got the drop on both of these players.
Oh, the timing couldn't be better for Norbert. Again, just getting those kills when they need them the most. He has been absolutely fantastic so far throughout this map. 13 kills. The next highest on his team is only at 5. Still, in fact, he's still got more kills than the rest of his team combined. He does, doesn't he? Yeah, 12, and he's got 13. That's ridiculous. We're in round 9. Larson's going to try and give this one a go. Financially, the CT side are actually in a very good spot. They've had a few clean rounds, so he can opt to go for this. It seems like, though, he's just going to stay passive and try and get an exit, which realistically, there should be a 0% chance of him getting anything because they don't need to push out of the site. They should just both go into the back of pit. If anybody does leave this site, I'm going to be fairly disappointed in the side of K23. So nothing for Larson. I will say I'm a little bit disappointed he doesn't go for something there. I understand that keeping your finances strong on the CT side is very important, especially on Inferno, where utility is the prime factor. But I don't know. I always want to see somebody going for something like that, especially in a grand final when you have the cash to buy anyway.
I think at the very least, he's got a Molotov. You could go for the Dosia nade-esque molly into the pit corner, right? Try and at least force the fights coming your way on the exits. Try and get one or maybe two players going down with the bomb, but keeps the AWP in his hands instead. Slightly missed smoke from the CT side. A gap for Kios to potentially abuse as K23 starting this one off fairly slowly. Just starting to probe towards that top bracket control now, and not a bad start by any means, but the CT side are going to look for that banana control. Really has been a consistent point of Movistar to make absolutely sure they do take this part of the map away. And nice damage through the smoke onto Kios as well. He goes down to 26th. That should give Larson the opportunity, posted with the AWP, and it's almost forcing K23 again to start trying to wrap over towards this A bomb site. They've got to deal with Alex first, though. That arch hold going to be a very strong position as Mopos actually rotates to join him, and for the first time, Larson is going to be trusted to solo post on the AWP.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to have to play a part in this round at all, though. The T's look firmly dedicated into this A site, and the read you've basically highlighted is almost perfect. Again, though, Norbert winning a crucial duel. I don't think he should get the second, but he does. Mopos falls to the same man that's been tearing them apart. Norbert, he wants this grand final victory. Looking to try and do it all, but somehow it's still coming back into a close situation. It's left onto Larson once again. Now, in this situation, a save almost makes sense. Financially, they're not in the best of spots, but this time he opts to try and challenge it. I'm confused, but you know what? Clearly, he thought he was in a better position this time.
I can sort of see the logic, as Movistar riders do take their first time out, but as you said, you look at that cash. Larson, 7,600. If he saves that AWP, he's dropping one, maybe even two rifles to his teammates and really making this buy viable. So, an interesting call to say the least, and it does feel like it's going to hamstring Movi a little bit as he goes straight for rebuying into the AWP.
Honestly, I think if K23 win this, they've just got to give Norbert like an extra like $1,000 or something of the cash prize. Maybe even just give him all of it. In fact, normally you'd go, what, like 20% each? Well, currently he is still outfragging the rest of his team. Like it's ridiculous. 16 and 7, and it's not like these have been eco frags or like rounds where you know, it's an easy kill for him to get. He just triple entry to 4-man stack. That's ridiculous. Like, they were ready for him, and they still couldn't do anything. The headshot onto the player in pit is not an easy thing to do either, so the guy is in form. He's been the difference maker so far in this map. In fact, the next closest is going to be Steel, actually, on 11 kills. Him and Shox, again, this duo have been performing well. In fact, that almost makes me think that maybe they should start putting more pressure on the B side, because realistically, they're the players that have been a bit quieter, but I guess you also have to look at it in a way of they've had to try and retake the A site quite a few times.
Yeah, definitely doesn't feel like they've been put under too much pressure as of yet. This time, though, Larson does look like he's going to be tested. Utility coming over the top, fully blinded. Orpa trying to hit the timing shot, can't quite connect. And, well, K23, they are sending it. 3 players looking for this control. Nice pick from Larson, not that he could miss. So many bodies headed his way. And K23, they're just going straight into this bomb site. Larson trying to be proactive, can't quite get it done. And Mopos hoping the trigger discipline will net him more than one. Does manage to get the double spray down as Kios wraps into construction. But he's isolated now. Mo has got him pinned down with the AWP, still getting it done. Shox there to back him up. And Movistar, they have just bailed themselves out of jail there.
Yeah, it seems like both teams, when they need like a clutch round or in a situation where their economy is going to be completely in the bin, they just seem to win it. And Movistar riders are no different. Again, with a couple of SMGs, some pieces missing, Larson going down, it still worked. They still managed to get the round through. And now you look at the other side of things. Tech 9s, Deagles, and a single AK onto Kios. He's going to look to try and battle Banana, and, well, there goes that single AK.
Yeah, not an ideal start, to say the least. Mo will manage to grab himself and retreat regardless. And Tech9 up close and personal for Norbert. Going to catch the timing on the first and the second player again. Just finding crucial entries, and he's just going to hold W straight through those apartments. Mopos desperately trying to rotate, trying to get anything he can done. He's going to have a potential timing on this backstab. I don't think they're going to expect a CT player to be this quick through the apartments. Might just about be able to save the round, but you can see Norbert, of course, is starting to think about the possibility. This is all on the timing. Spots him and deals with him. A quick headshot on 21 HP. Still a 2-on-2 retake. But once again, Norbert is getting it done for K23.
Low HP, but that doesn't seem to matter. Looks for the headshot angle. Spots at least one of the players. Smoke going down might give more information than you might think. Allowing them to go peeking back through. Neelan's going to pick off one, and now they know that Larsson's within the site. They've heard the footsteps. They've seen the smoke, and he's actually just going to opt to retreat by the looks of it. Norbert will close things out. It's going to be... Oh, my God. He's gone 21 kills. There's still a few rounds left of this half. Dear Lord. Doing it with the Tech9. And again, it sort of fits true to what I was saying before. It's like when either of these teams have their economy on the brink and need a clutch round, someone steps up and, well, he still has more kills than his entire team. I can't believe that this is a narrative I'm actually having to sell when we're going into round 13 of a map. All right, Mo. All right. Okay, we found the eco-frag king. Although I say that, Shox has bought? He only bought a deagle. I guess his money was just so wrecked that he's actually invested some of it. Means that the rest of the team will have a buy in the next round, and he'll probably just still have a deagle.
Yeah, not a great spot. Don't mind the idea of rushing down mid either. Try and get something done. Unfortunate for them that Mo, Galil, plenty of rounds in the chamber. Adding to his personal stats, trying to overtake Norbert for the rest of the team. Shox not quite able to connect the first shot on the deagle, and of course now with his position known, will just be completely pinned out of getting anything done. And I think he's looking to save that deagle, try and give himself something to work with into the next round, give him the opportunity to pick up a little more utility, because an 8th round on the board, a guaranteed lead at the half for K23. And honestly, for Movistar, it's just got to be how on earth do we stop Norbert? 21 kills to his name. Absolutely wrecking it at the moment, and he has been causing so many issues, so many consistent multi-frags, and just a constant thorn in the side of the CTs.
The funny thing is, even with those 4 eco-frags, they still haven't overtaken him yet. They're on 20. If they kill him at the end, they will match Norbert. Oh, well, Mo's not getting it. No ace for you. In fact, he survives. Never mind. We can have a look at our parry match odds once again. No surprise that they are firmly in the favor of K23. Still, of course, if you click the banner down below, it will take you to get a bonus from parry match. So, seems like it's worth doing. For the CT side, they're now back on the brink once again. Not a particularly good buy. As said, Shox is only going to be on a deagle. Mopos on an MP7. Now, Keels' aggression towards Banana really hasn't been that successful over the last few rounds. It's mainly been their apartments control that has worked wonders for them. Now, a lot of utility already being expended as well by the CT side, so they're not going to have a massive amount going into the latter stages. In fact, we've lost just 30 seconds on the clock, and they only have 2 smokes and 3 flashbangs left.
Not a good position to be in at all, and I'm honestly surprised we haven't seen the CTs leaning more heavily over towards the safe bomb site yet. Pop flash for Shox, but Norbert again in those apartments, ready to punish absolutely anything that comes his way. Keels will get his top banana control, does have support as well in the form of Neelan, so potentially can look to anchor this one back, and that does look like the call at the worst possible time. Steel rotating forward and back. It's going to be Mopos joining Alex over towards this B bomb site, but it's going to be all on the timing. Alex boosted CT. No smoke to obscure his vision at all yet, but it's going to be Keels and Neelan to just open things up. All too easy. 2 quick frags, and Larsson, well, he started to make the rotation around, but I think, again, you've got to be looking at the save as he misses his initial shot. There just isn't the money there for the CT side. And Steel, well, he already knows that. Hunkered down towards short, giving nothing away, and just desperately trying to hold on to that M4, but it's going to be Kadeo to take the AWP out of Larsson's hands, and Steel is surely going to be put under pressure by K23.
It sort of goes back to what I was saying before about like they have a heavy investment. There, a lot of players will drop the AWP over, but I still have yet to see much impact with it. I think it was only the round, one of the eco rounds that they had where he went a bit more aggressive. But other than that, the AWP really hasn't done much for either side, I guess. Like Mo, 4 of his kills were eco frag. So thus far, the AWPers in this series are yet to really show up, and it's been other players, aka Norbert, and I guess you could say Shox and Steel on the other side. But K23 are going to be very happy. On their map choice, 9 rounds already on the T side, looking for their 10th. They're up against a Mag 7, an MP9, 2 Deagles, and a CZ. Quite a lot of utility for the CT side, but they're going to have to do something pretty special to win this round. But if this game is anything to go by, it'll probably be a victory for them here.
Definitely not out of it just yet. Heavy apartments aggression. All 3 players pushing through for the CT side, including that shotgun of Steel. Going to try and make an impression. Meanwhile, Banana will be aggressed by the T's, just using their utility to try and get what control they can. Steel, I think, understandably doesn't want to over-aggress. There's a deep angle that could be held by the AK-47. Shotgun never going to win that fight. It's going to be Kios under pressure. Alex going straight through the smoke with the CZ and actually winning the fight. Mo and Neelan, though, there to bail him out and will find the refrag. So the man advantage now available for K23. Can just look to slow this round down. They know the firepower isn't there for the CT side. They've got plenty of utility to plan out their execute, and they're just going to start chucking it over towards this B bomb site. Smoke for the coffins, smoke for CT. The one Molotov will come out from Shox, which may actually buy him a little bit of time. The bomb, off the back of one molly, is going to make the rotation. They committed full utility here, and they're hoping that they've drawn away the defense of the CT side, but Larson isn't buying it. He's hanging around at the arches, and it's going to be up to Steel to make the hero play on the Mag 7. He's tucked into the corner here. He's going to have his opportunity as Neelan starts to swing round. There's the first for the shotgun. He's lost his support, though, and with 18 seconds left, he needs to stay alive. Can't quite do so. Mo connects the shot, and Shox, well, he's got a Deagle 1v3.
Chance is very slim, especially with Mo already holding the angle. And while we see the AWPer finally sort of step up into this game, they've managed to actually overtake Norbert as well in frags. But the man has been lights out this entire half. A complete game changer. I honestly think if you swap him with one of the players on the other team, you could be seeing a complete polar opposite result. Now, Movistar going into their T side are going to have to do something pretty impressive. And while I'm already looking at their pistol and wondering what they're going to do. 2 Molotovs, 3 smokes, a couple of flashbangs. This is going to be an interesting take. They've got a hell of a lot of utility. Definitely looks like they're coming into this one with a very distinct plan, but K23, they are looking to throw a spanner in the works immediately. Mid-aggression coming through from the CT side, getting a lot of map control from it as well. Bomb surely going to be spotted out here, but Steel able to deal with Norbert. That's the key player gone, and the trades will start to come through. It's sheer chaos. Kios has somehow found himself all the way in T-spawn, but Mopos has been left completely alone. The picks, again, just going the way of K23. He gets the first, can be pushed by both players, though, and it will be Mo to trade him out. An 11th round found. And yeah, I mean, Movistar, they had a very definite plan there. They bought a ton of utility, as you said, but a straight mid-rush coming out from K23. There's just nothing that utility can do for them in that situation. It's not a pre-planned execute. It's complete and utter chaos. And K23 come out on top. I really like the pistol from K23. I don't know if that's like a read into their opponents or if it was just on a whim, but the fact is, as you sort of mentioned, if they had any plan, Movistar didn't get to execute it because they had to just go into a straight-up brawl, which is where K23 think they're going to be winning this. Now, that is not the start you're looking for, though. This is a nothing investment. This is a P250 along with very little else, but Norbert again, he's going to burn them alive. He's looking to try and ace. Sure, it's eco-frag. Sure, it's a big boost for him, but they needed it. They lost 3 players in the early stages, and he just trounces anyone coming into his path. 27 kills, a ridiculous amount of cash made. He could drop an AWP, like, if he wanted to. I think he's dropped a rifle instead, so he's going to be a little bit more conservative with his decision, but even still, they come into what is normally a pretty weak buy with 3 rifles, a lot of utility, and a couple of SMGs. I mean, could you ask any more of Norbert? The B-hold has been dismantled by pistols. 2 quick picks have put Movi in the ascendancy, and then he just swings around with that MP9 and makes it look so simple. Ace
on all of those encroaching T-side players and just locking them out of yet another round that Movi honestly looked odds on to win, right? 2 opening picks, banana control. It was looking so promising, and once again, hero of the hour turns up for K23. He even drops his teammates the rifles. Nice initial damage down banana. Movistar looking to slow this one down a little bit. It's been a hectic start to their T side, and now they're looking to take a little more control of the pace. Slow, controlled bracket aggression. Just starting to think about probing towards banana. They've left the player over towards logs this whole time, and Keels is going to find the opening peak. Double swing, though. Alex is there to back Mopos up, and now Norbert again with that MP9. 2 quick headshots. And again, Norbert, 29 kills now.
He's cheating.
He's just the hero. Everything that could possibly go wrong for Movistar almost entirely depends on Norbert making it happen. Mo will get one over towards the arches. He'll spot the bomb coming down. And Kadeo just needs to clean things up as they start to swing in towards the A bomb site.
Somewhat left his teammate for dead here, but it's whether or not they even expect him. And actually found some damage through the smoke. They're both incredibly low. Just 10 HP remaining for Shox to try and pull off this clutch. And who else but Norbert to put another player in the grave. He's hit his 30 bomb in, what, 18 rounds? That is absolutely ridiculous. He's going to be put down by Shox, though. This man is known for his headshots. Very good at finding those individual peaks, but he's going to be pincered. Same time peak. Great stuff from K23. Don't leave it to chance. Absolutely no possibility, but yeah, 30 kills in 18 rounds. That's just filth. Destroying anybody that comes into his path. 8 kills in 2 rounds as well. It's pretty cool.
I mean, he didn't even have the rifle there. He had the MP9 to retake top banana. I mean, it is a beautiful pop flash. I'll give it that. It was the first kill was the easy one. Fully blinded player. Nice headshot. But the adjustment to find the insta-dink onto the second man. And again, to keep your team in it. To give them the opportunities. It's just ridiculous. It really does feel like we said Inferno was a must-win for K23. Well, Norbert heard that message loud and clear, and he is making absolutely sure. 13-5. Movistar Riders really starting to scrape the bottom of the barrel to try and make something of this half. They've got a couple of rifles here and there, but it's not good. And looking at the parry match, of course, bonus on the first deposit. I mean, K23, we said it was on form, right? All those odds felt like they were based on the form of the players, and Norbert, he has shown us just what that form can do.
Well, yeah, pretty much if the parry match odds disappear, that means that they are so certain that one of the teams is going to win that they just don't give you odds anymore. So, yeah, the reason that there are no odds, unlikely, this might just be me making stuff up, is probably because they're just like, yeah, we ain't giving you odds on K23 anymore, because they have basically done what is needed. And Keels is now going to start things off with an opener. Second kill coming in as well alongside from Mo. This is all just falling apart. A fantastic round again, just clean from K23. That was a buy. That was Movistar Riders investing. That was their almost last chance to try and get themselves back into this match. And they have just been slapped. 14-5. Sure, this is a map that was their choice, but we sort of set this up as like, okay, this map could be relatively close. And although it started that way, wow, it's not close anymore.
It definitely just feels like K23, not only have they done their homework, but the individual stars have come to party, right? Everything that could possibly go wrong for Movi has gone wrong. We had that early back and forth where it felt like they could maybe get a kickstart on their CT side, but every time they had the opportunity, every time K23 were down on the pistols, their buy was awkward. Norbert would pull out a hero play and bring them back into the game. And Movi really starting to look desperate now. Pistols to try and defend against map point, to try and get something done. It's 3 Tech 9s, a couple of Deagles, and of course, banana control taken early by K23. Neelan already posted up, funneling those T-sided players in towards that A bomb site as the utility starts to rain through for the CT side.
The weird thing is, again, looking at the stats, there's actually been, well, +3 on opening duels in favor of Movistar Riders. So they've been getting the openers for themselves. They've just not been able to convert, well, basically any of the rounds. Now going to look towards Shox. Going to start things off. There seems to be a running theme, though. They get an opener. then they lose the round. Mo has been tagged relatively low. Mopol's actually going to find him through the wall, so things looking a little bit dangerous now. Norbert knows this and decides to fall into the pit, play at range, but it's the AWP that comes out from Larssen. A nice shot from him, an overall quiet game, but somehow they managed to make it work with the pistols. Again, crunch time for Movistar Riders is where they step up to the plate. The problem is the clean round that came through just moments ago from K23 means they can buy comfortably.
Yeah, I mean, we could have done with that round a good few rounds prior, right? They've given themselves such an almighty task to try and overcome. It's a really well-manufactured A-hit. They managed to isolate the initial peak. Mo's got to hold 2 angles at once. Simply impossible. He gets traded 1 for 1. And then Larssen shows up with a very nice shot on the AWP to deal with Norbert, who did feel like, again, every time we see the observer going towards him, you're just expecting a big play at this point. He was reading it well, dropped into the mini pit, just didn't expect that gap in the left-hand side of the smoke. But of course, it's not going to get any easier for Movistar Riders. The buy is still available for K23. They are a little slim on the nades, though, so potentially a slower round could be their undoing.
Oh. Now or never. Not an ideal purchase for K23, but we'll see if they can make it work. Keo's, we sort of made a point yesterday that he's very good at getting the openers for his side, but normally gets traded. Like, him escaping never really seems to work too well, but with the AWP, normally does a better job. I think he's already tagged up Mopos as well, and this is aggressive. He's going to go all the way into Banana. If he was peaked at this stage, you'd be fairly reliant on either a crazy flick or more likely his teammate having to bail him out. Actually, his teammate's hiding. This is such a weird round, but somehow Keels is able to just walk down, finds the player who had the bomb, and then just scurries away. Like, there had to be some sort of response there from the Movistar Riders. Instead, well, now they have to go back, get the bomb. Sure, that's not really that big of an issue because they've smoked it off and have the opportunity, but it's given so much time for, well, K23 to rotate away. The interesting thing will be Keels, because that smoke doesn't actually help him. The reason I say this is because a player can get into this close corner and walk back further forward. I don't like this. If a flash goes through, he should be dead, but he gets it anyway and almost lines them up. He's just destroying them. Kios gets every single player. An ace for the man from Belgium, and I don't know how he's managed to get away with that.
There's no way. He should never do this. It's a 1-for-1 trade. He gets aggressive, takes out Alex. There's nobody there to refrag.
No.
He's blind, and then they line up. It's just all too easy, and he is just chaining them together. That really does feel like final nail in the coffin, doesn't it? Movistar Riders 15-6. Looking desperate at this point for anything they can pull their way. Mo aggressive on his initial peak. Doesn't quite find it. Heals this time. A much more passive play from the AWPer, but he's got teammates to back him up. Neelan in a nice spot for the crossfire. The CT side, 1 round away. Neelan opens things up towards top Banana. His AWPer still there to back him up. Drops the smoke in case of the molly. Molpo's going to get picked off by the AWP. K23 finding yet another gear here. The Movistar Riders honestly just looking like they're in disarray at this point.
Yeah, no, they've been obliterated. They started off as just Norbert carrying, and now every single player seems to step up. Mo's had a very good second half. Keels as well, like up to 18 frags after a bit of a quieter start to the game. And yeah, I guess just feeling themselves here, like getting more and more aggressive every second, and there's been no response. No one on the other side has been able to do anything versus this. Norbert, okay, he's going to peek into Larssen. That's at least something. But these are the kills that Larssen seems to be strong at getting. If he's holding an angle, he'll be fine. It's when he has to aggressively peek where I feel like his flaws lie. Clearing some of these angles is going to be very difficult. A player sat towards the graveyard, waiting patiently. Tries to get both, and actually, he will. Cadio will close out the game. A ridiculous scoreline, a 16-6 in our first map of the grand final. And honestly, I think the majority of the side of Movistar Riders are yet to show up.
Yeah, they've definitely left a lot to be desired, and I think they really are going to have to show up in this second map. You know, we hyped it up. We said, oh, the stats look good. It's going to be Movi to take that second one easy. I think right now, if K23 bring that form and Movi show up as little as they did, this could be a 2-0 sweep the other way.
Well, yeah, if you've got players like Norbert dropping 30 bombs, I don't think it matters what map you're going to end up on. Nonetheless, we are going to be heading off to a break, and after that, we will have our second map of the grand final. Will K23 be able to take it and to make things look easy and get themselves $10,000 more than their opponent finishing in second place? We'll have to wait and see after the break. Hello and welcome back to the European Development Championship, brought to you by Gaming Malta, a home of gaming excellence. We have just witnessed a trouncing, one team getting absolutely obliterated and one man doing most of the heavy lifting, at least in the first half. Movistar Riders, they have not really turned up yet, Wolfie.
Yeah, and I mean, they are going to need all the map advantage they can get moving forwards because they really need to find anything to get them back into this game. It was just a demolition. There's no two ways about it. It was K23 showing us everything they can do and showing us just how prepared they are to face Movistar in the finals.
Yeah, I think, like, looking into this, though, like, even if you go onto a map like Mirage, which I think is heavily favored to Movistar based off the amount of maps they played, consistency, even the teams that they beat, you look into the losses that are actually there for K23, it's like Gambit. Okay, I think both of these teams would lose to Gambit. I think they're a fantastic team. Wisla Krakow, okay, that one's a little bit arguable. And Apex, who at the time obviously had players like Jacob coming into the mix. So other than that, they've then beaten Gambit, beaten Copenhagen Flames. Sure, they lost to a team called 100 PG, but it's like they just haven't played the map much. So if they come in with the same level of form that we saw in the last one, I'm actually a little bit worried for Movistar that this could be a 2-0. But at the same time, it is a map that obviously K23 themselves have decided not to play. So I don't know if they'll be quite as comfortable. I don't think Norbert will realistically be able to continue that run of form. Like, if he does go with 30 bomb the second map as well, then fair enough, like, props to him. But chances are, if it's one of your most popular maps, you're going to feel comfortable making those sort of more aggressive plays. Whereas if it's one that you avoid playing, it's probably because it doesn't suit your stars either.
Yeah, and that's again going to feel like it's arcing back to the in-game leading in that situation. You know, they've had an absolute cakewalk on Inferno. That's got to be one of the easiest T-sides he's ever had to call, Norbert go kill, and it just happens. When you go to a map you're less comfortable on, your top fraggers aren't necessarily fragging as much as they did. That's when you're looking to the IGL. That's when you're looking to them to go, okay, what's the big play? How are we getting back into this? What's the read on the situation? And I think that's where the pressure is potentially really going to start to come through from K23. And it's something Movistar can look to exploit. There's a lot of experience on that roster. They will have been in this situation before, and they will know how to come back from it.
Well, the other thing as well that does sort of worry me, though, for Movistar is that a lot of the rounds that we saw from them were very, very sloppy. Like, obviously, Kios's ace was sick. Like, he hits every single shot. They come walking into the angle. But it was just messy. Like, the flashbang lands in a teammate's face. They don't trade off an AWP that's individually peaking. Like, I would expect that player to get maximum of 2 kills there. Like, if he gets anything more, it's sloppy. The fact he gets 5 is a joke. So, and there are a few rounds like that where I feel like there are moments where they should have got trades. Like, Norbert just being able to triple kill in a 4-man stack is ridiculous. Like, these are things that you just look at and you go, okay, this is a team that just hasn't seemed to show up today. And again, like, I've harped on him throughout the tournament, but Larson just doesn't have enough impact for me. Yep. Now, going into a map like Mirage, he has to, because he's the rotational orb. He's the person getting aggressive. He's the person that fights mid, holds onto Palace, and tries to basically get them a pick on the outside of A. So if he's playing poorly, that's it. And also, a lot of the picks that I've seen him get on this map in general are basically denying aggression when he's on the T side, which, okay, sure, that's an important factor. If he can stop people getting aggressive. The worry for me is, without someone like Shox or Mopos popping off, their Mirage falls apart, because they need players who get those openers. Because most of the time, as said, if they're not coming to Larson, he's not that great at finding the picks, like looking into positions and finding openers for them. So you rely on Shox, like coming in from Palace doing damage, and Mopos a lot of the time lurking around outside B. If those players are quiet, as Mopos was, especially in the first map, that's GG. Like, they'll get run over. It doesn't matter if it's not a good map for K23. Just individually, it will be enough. And the thing that's been weird so far is that throughout this tournament, we have seen now multiple players pop off that I'm not saying they shouldn't. Like, for example, Norbert, he's someone who definitely can. But you've had Nilan have like 30 bombs or like at least 25 plus kills in maps. You've had Cadio do the same. Like, he's someone who I think has less than a 1 rating on overall. So for him to drop a 30 bomb is actually a pretty big deal. Mo stepping up as well at times. There hasn't really been a map where I've watched his team and I've been like, oh, everybody sucked. So no matter how it goes, there's going to be someone like popping off for K23. So there has to be a counter to that. And in my eyes, Shox and Mopos are the go-to. They have to be good. If they're playing poorly, GG.
Yeah, I mean, Shox looked pretty crisp when he was given the opportunity in that
Yep.
first map. You know, his pistol play looked really solid. He was good with the deagle. It really did just feel like he was the one good thing in a failing system. Everybody else was falling down. He was playing retake constantly, being put in these situations where realistically you can't expect anything of him, right? You're looking
Yeah.
at one and dones, you're looking at exits. So I think if you're looking for the silver lining, which you've got to do if you're Movistar Riders, it's that Shox looked clean if he didn't get his opportunities. And to be fair, Steel looked pretty solid as well
Yeah.
when he was given his chances. If you take those two players and you give them a little bit more room, you give them a little bit more time, don't put them on the B-bomb site on Mirage, whatever you do, because otherwise they're just going to be playing retakes again for the remainder of this series. Then maybe they can start to show up. They can start to get some of those
I think
individual
Mopos
plays.
does play B.
Oh, don't say that. It's just if you put them on B, they're just going to be doing retakes. They're literally going to be playing retake simulator all day.
I think Mopos is on B. I think it's Larson in mid. I think it might be an A site play for Shox though.
Okay.
So you might get that. But he's normally the Palace player a lot of the time when it comes to T side especially, which I feel like a lot of the time relies on other people making him space. Nonetheless, we are going into the second map, a chance for K23 to win this grand final, walk away with $17,500 and leave their opponents with 10,000 left and without the crown. But we'll have to wait and see. Mo, he's got very aggressive here. He needs a kill, and he's not going to get one. Shock starting things off with an impactful entry. Neelan's so blind, he doesn't even react. It's like he DC'd from the server, and they have quickly destroyed their opponents. The two players I've mentioned have kicked things off with a bang, and this is exactly what we wanted to see from Movistar going into their map choice.
Eos starting to drag things back, at least for now. Has found a couple of entries. His problem is there's so many players remaining. A double Palace play, but Norbert's going to get both. They're not expecting the flank through underpass, and all of a sudden, Larson, well, you've got to show up big, buddy. Stuck towards the back of site. There is nothing to do. I was just about to start hyping Movi up. I was just about to say welcome to the server, but as soon as they are here, they've disconnected. They're done. It's Norbert again for K23.
It's lost a 5-on-2. I don't even know how they lost the 5-on-2. Like, Norbert, I don't know how he hit those two shots, so we didn't see them. And then Kios basically was, for half of that, was doing a one-man retake versus 5 players. Yeah, that's a joke. Like, Movistar, that is an atrocious loss in the pistol round. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before, and I hope I never have to see anything like it ever again. Luckily for them, the economy system in this game is stupid. So they're going to be able to buy back in, get themselves 3 rifles and a scout. And on the other side, well, it's very, very similar. So they have an opportunity to basically right their wrongs after what should have been a pistol win.
Oh, Movi, you've angered Tom. That's never a good idea. Mopos will open things up with a pick, though. Norbert again flashed in, going to find himself an early opening once more as well, as Kadeo does find another frag. And somehow, after a nice opening, again, Movistar Riders find themselves a man down, and their map control this time extremely limited. 2 players in towards the connector, pincered between triple and short, and this should just be a slaughter. It's going to be Keels and Norbert, of course. Norbert finding frags, and Keels finishes the job. Considering the control that Movistar got initially, considering that opening pick, that is an extremely clean round from K23, and I mean, I'm starting to get nervous already.
Yeah, I feel like you've just got to be super demoralized, especially if you're Mopos. Like, getting the double entry in the pistol round and still losing, it's just like, what do you even do at that point? Also managed to get an opener for them in this round, and unfortunately, well, for round number 3, they can't invest anything. Nice shot from Mopos again. At least he showed up on this second map. Definitely wasn't fantastic on Inferno, but this is where we need him to shine. They might actually be able to retrieve one of the rifles. The swing from Neelam was incredibly wide and risky, and well, Alex actually has retrieved that gun.
I'm sure to maybe do something with it, but yeah, no, immediately removed. Keels and Cadeo making it look all too easy. It was a risky peek, as you said, but well, K23, they just bailed themselves out of it. And Movi, I think, honestly, we need to see them showing up very, very early on here. This is going to be their first full buy, first full rifles. AWP in the hands of Larson once again. Mo gets his big green as well. And we definitely need to see some fighting spirit from them here. Something has to work. And Norbert, well, he's already looking to take the fight to them. A lot of damage found onto Larson early on and forcing away that early boost, the early ramp peak taken from Movistar Riders, and map control already looking a little bit awkward. They do manage to get themselves out mid with the utility, but what can they do with it?
Oh. You're going to see Larson. He does manage to get an opener. A strong start, as said, a fairly passive AWPer who does manage to find picks here and there. First kill on the board for him. He's got to be a little bit wary. Mo's going to be watching on ramp from up high. Needs to be a bit careful, but the fact is he's going to miss his shot. With Palace control, though, this could become a little bit awkward. Because Norbert's going to make things uncomfortable for them. Neelan's already going to find the trade back, peeking into middle. Now, he should be dead here. I don't know if he'll expect them to be this far forward, but he drops the bomb. This is going to make things horrific now for this T side, as they have to try and reclaim the bomb, and there's actually a crossfire setup. So they could just throw down incendiaries, and look at the pushers coming in from Norbert as well. Even if they do manage to retrieve the bomb, he's going to be in the perfect spot to end them. The fact is, though, they are starting to lose a couple of players here and there. All they really need to do is be patient, but Neelan just wants to take the fight. And at this point, I don't really blame him. There has been little to no response on the other side from Movistar Riders, and K23 are going to get a 4-0 start.
That is an absolutely flying start. They are carrying the momentum through. And yeah, the parry match odds absolutely reflect it. Movistar 4-1 now. This is starting to get very rough. And of course, you can get your bonus with the first deposit, clicking on the banner down below. Movistar are going to be looking for anything that they can get at this point. Pistols rush over towards the B bomb site, potentially playing contact to give themselves a slightly better chance. They do have good utility behind this, and Tech9's up close and personal can do work. They are able to get at least one, and Neelan there to back him up well. 2 opening picks, rotations swarming in. And yeah, the CT side are just going to clean up. Shox manages to get at least one on the Deagle, but that's it. It's so clean. It's so brutal. K23, they are building their bank so efficiently at this point. A 5-0 start. I mean, Movi, I'm looking for something to give me hope in this, and it is not looking pretty.
No, we are going to see them get a buy onto the board, though. Alex and Steel yet to show up to the server whatsoever, but hopefully this will be the round that all changes. CT side, though, economy booming. Alex is going to go on a charge, just running straight through. Mo's going to hit the footsteps. He should know that he's made it this far forward, and in fact, will just opt to fall back. Steel, in the meantime, is trying to stop the aggression of Neelan. Might catch a nade, but the response won't be anything too severe. They have managed to at least garner some mid-control. The fact is, though, the CT side have almost given it up. They're not really fighting for anything. It's only going to be Norbert taking a battle that, I don't know, so it seemed a little bit risky. Steel just goes walking in, though. I guess because his teammate recently just peeked out of that angle, he believed it to be clear. They have, however, found now a pick onto the B side. It's very loose. It's very disjointed for Movistar. But they're somehow making this work.
Just taking their jewels straight up all over the bomb site as they start to try and probe their options over towards B. Mo going to be put under pressure. Multiple angles dropping onto the site. Does find the first pick onto Alex. There's support here for him as well. Kios bailing out Neelan as he's just trying to hide behind the boxes. And somehow they found themselves the man advantage. Make it 2K23 as Mo takes out the opposition AWPer, and Shox in with the clutch. There are low HP players here. He's going to find the first, almost the second, but Mo just a little too quick on the draw. K23, they drag it back once again. They get their 6th round on the board, and that, well, it was the most promising position Movistar Riders have been in, and they still couldn't find the conversion.
I'm impressed with the rotation there from K23. They got the read spot on. I suppose it wasn't exactly subtle with an opening pick coming into the apps and also getting ladder control fairly early on, but they get the full stack in and then they just don't lose pretty much any of the players up until the final one, a 3v4 situation that they make look very, very easy. And while Mo's just connecting every single shot that comes into his path, Keels as well has started 10-1. So as said, there's been like a player that's pretty much shown up in every single series we've witnessed. I remember on Overpass especially, Keels was managing to make the XM work in pretty much every single situation. And I mean every single situation. Like, he was playing it on B site, he was playing it in connector. Even at one round, played it on long, which that was magical. And he got a kill with it. So, you know, I'm impressed. Not sure about that. Got Spy as a hero. AK ends up just running into the blender. He does pull a full rotation, but Cadio's still here. It's a bit awkward, but he gets the job done. And actually, it wasn't just one hero AK. They bought two. Now, those are not necessarily the players that will be investing heavy amounts into utility in the next round, so financially, they will still be fine. But I'm expecting, with buying a couple of AKs, they were hoping for a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I get the idea. You bait the rotations away, you try and get something done, but Kadeo just shows up, and by getting that second frag, by stalling for so long, he allows Mo to swing from top con and pick the AWP up, get that shot to take out the last man, and then a lonely Larson can get nothing done. Those double AKs, yeah, as you said, really little to no impact, not getting as much damage as they would have wanted. And the double AWP setup will come out for K23. Buy is available again, but it's slim in places. Larson, but Movi's got no utility. Mopo's just the one smoke. They need something to start working. They need somebody to start showing up to this game, and it's not happening. Norbert straight through underpass. An easy opening pick onto Alex, and that's put pressure onto Mopos over on that B bomb site. He's got to cover both angles at once, and K23, they're not letting up either. 3 players on this mid aggression, and they're going to start pushing for more.
Oh, we are at least going to see a response. Keels is down, but they've taken a lot of damage in return. Norbert actually still looking to get aggressive here. I think he's waiting for a flash that just isn't coming, but instead has just managed to walk his way all the way up top mid. He's going to spot that there's no one here. Again, they can start their rotations, but are they going to gamble correctly, and are they going to do it in time? At the moment, it looks like Cadio is going to have a lot of work to do. Now, Steele's managed to pick one off. This will at least deny some rotations, although Norbert should have him dead to rights, which he does. And now Cadio, again, is going to be the one asked to step up big, and he's sprayed down too. It seems like nothing they do works. No player they face off against can they find, and it will be Cadio to kill every remaining member. I mentioned at the beginning, Wolfie, that it seems like they always have a player to step up. At the moment, they have all of them.
You really couldn't ask for a better B anchor. And Hellcase, of course, 15% on your refill using the code, clicking on the banner down below. But, I mean, that anchor is just everything you could ask of your B player, right? Doesn't get picked off early, holds his ground when the rotations are a little bit slow, finds a huge double kill, leaving an isolated AWPer, and then just to put the icing on the cake, picks the last man off. 8-0, K23 with a guaranteed lead at the half, and Movistar haven't registered on the board yet. They're going to be buying, it'll be pistols down to about that 2k mark to try and have some impact. The problem is economy at this point is arguably starting to become irrelevant. There's good bank across the board on K23. Movi just need rounds. They need something to start working. It looks like they're going to go for the Waterfall out Palace and hope they can get a bomb plant off the back of it. But with 3 players here, 3 rifles lying in wait for K23, this is going to be a tall order indeed. Neelan should have them dead to rights. The spray down good for the first. Doesn't quite find the trades he was after. But 3 for 2 in favor of K23 isn't too bad at all. Bomb dropped under dark as well. Norbert still alive and kicking. Larson actually does well with the deagle to try and make things awkward. But of course, Norbert connects. Kadeo gets the nade over the top. It's good damage, admittedly, from Movistar Riders. But I think really what they were looking for there was bomb down. That extra injection of cash to give them something to go for.
Well, as you can see, no odds remaining from Power Match. It's going to be the banner down below. You can click for your bonus, and not overly surprised by that. 9-0 in favor of K23. This is not their map choice. This is not a map they even particularly play, like in comparison to some of the other maps. So we're looking at Inferno 21 times, Overpass 21 times. I think the lowest, other than Vertigo, which they don't play, they have is 12 maps played, and they've only played Mirage 6 times with a 33% win rate. So they are not a particularly strong or competent Mirage team. Maybe they've been hiding it for the entire year. I'm not so sure I believe that. I think Movistar just have not shown up. And on the other side of things, well, we sort of mentioned it. If the players continue to pop off in the way that they have been, it's done. And for now, the European side, there's nothing. There's no one to really write home about. Mopos, okay, sure. He's put a few frags on the board, but it's not enough. And you can see the confidence is just thriving at the moment. A push underpass with an AWP from Keels. They had the finances to invest into a double AWP, even though they didn't save either of them in the last round. That's how much spare cash they had. Well, Shox, I mentioned him in the pre-game. He needs to have a better game. He needs to step up. And so far, there's really not been much at all.
At least for now, I like this setup from Movistar. They haven't lost any firepower early. There hasn't been any picks. And this A-bomb site potentially looking a little vulnerable with Mo still toying with the connector peak. And you can see Alex going to try and cause some havoc down middle. It's going to be on to Norbert to really be the hero of the hour here. Mo going to be pressured from connector, and this timing, he's going to have no idea. This backstab's coming in. Still manages to get one on the ramp before he's taken out. That's good. But now it's all on Norbert. He's being swarmed from all sides. A huge nade over the top brings him down to half HP. Steel is going to try and stick the plant inside of the smoke. He's going to get away with it as well. Kadeo is already starting to thin the numbers. Make that a double kill from jungle. Larson has got to go big, and he's found the opening too. He's kept his team in this game, holding the passive angles, but it's Kadeo again. And Shox, well, we hyped him up. We said he could do this. 1v2, hits the first headshot. Can't quite find the AWP shot, and Keels will go down. Movistar finally on the board, but it is very, very close.
Finally happened, though. And it was, again, this sort of 1-2 punch coming in. It looked like it was all falling apart, but Larson, great shots with the AWP, finally coming up with a couple, and then Shox having to win out the 1 versus 2. It's not clean, it's not pretty, but they get the job done. The problem is, financially, they're still going to be hurting. They lose this one, they're right back on the pain train, and K23 will just forget that that ever happened. Still, though, if they win this round, we could actually see a turn in the tides, because the finances now are not actually that great. You have to remember that with the double AWP being repurchased in the previous round and only 2 players surviving versus pistols, K23 don't have a crazy amount of cash, and reinvesting everything into this one brought them right to the brink. However, as said, they win it, no one cares.
You need to be a little conscious of keeping those players alive. CT economy as it is a very fickle beast. Decent setup over towards the B-bomb site as Movistar are starting to lean in that direction, probing their options. Shox just sneaking his way through the opening peaks. Kadeo not on the traditional jump peak, aware that that exposes his head, instead opting for a more passive approach initially. That smoke, though, is going to allow him to aggress. Try and take that map control away. 3 players queued up behind it. Kadeo really does feel like he needs to go huge here. Neelan has abandoned his short hold in favor of ladder room, which is going to leave a very isolated CT presence. Neelan spots out the short play, can't quite connect the shot though, and it's 2 quick picks. B opened up all too easily for Movistar Riders. 20 seconds left, so they'll get that bomb down for free. And K23, I think they've got to take a good hard look at if this retake is even viable.
Oh, they managed a 2v5 in the pistol round. Steel. Oh, he actually hits the dink there. I'm guessing that was through the corner of the wall, and I think that will be the decision now to just hold on to some of the weaponry, even with the low HP players. Orbit maybe looking to try and drop a gun or two, but it's finally happened. Movistar have managed to get themselves onto the board, but do it in double. If they can get back to a 9-6, then it really is a possibility to bring this back. Even if we're looking at like 4-5 rounds over on the T side, it's not impossible. Fact is, though, the CT side holding onto these weapons actually does make a pretty big difference. Norbert could drop one. Kadeo can drop himself, and then the buy still comes back just as strong as before.
Yeah, really nice read from K23 to try and save that, to make sure that this buy is going to be just as strong as it can be, because if they can punch back immediately, Movi again will be on the ropes. As you said, 4-5 is doable. 9-6 would be fantastic. They're going to be aware of that pressure, and Neelan, well, he's looking to keep applying it for K23. Nice movement on the short jump, putting the pressure on. Mo spots the shoulder peek and deals with it as well. Steel not expecting to be taken down in that manner. A brutal start. And K23 just looking to assert themselves again almost immediately. Alex, He's starting to think about pushing up short. With the timing, he knows Neelan could have made his way round towards ladder, so has to be conscious of it. Playing the close angle, but clearing it all too casually. Gets taken out, and 5v3... Movi, they're going to try and collapse in towards this A bomb site, but it's going to be a straight 3v3, and Keels is going to help himself to the opener on Palace. It's looking all too easy. They're thinning the numbers all too simply, and K23 really does feel like they're right back into it. Larson misses the shot, and the punishment is there. A clean sweep from K23 is the response. They get to 10, and Movi, again, pressure just immediately back on them.
Yeah, and it seems like they're going for a lot of these looser plays as well, like individual fights just being handed, and I'm not really sure why. Like, there isn't a weak player at the moment. I guess Neelan's currently the bottom of the board, 8-8, so just I feel like they need to do something really basic, like a fast play, group up together, and just try and go for a push. By the looks of it, that might be the case here. Very fast move into this A site, trying to utilize the connector.
Oh,
they got the bomb.
Oh, that is not the play. Bomb has been lost, and fast play up con, great. Gets them some damage, fantastic. But you cannot drop bomb down the ramp. Steel is going to try and regress into it, and will actually manage to find himself the double kill. Bomb will be recovered in the 3-on-2. K23 just letting that one slip a little bit, as Kadeo and Mo will be forced to try and make it work from jungle. No information at all, so the bomb is just going to start wrapping very slowly over towards that B bomb site. All of the CT presence is focused around this jungle mid control, so it should be a free plant. And Mopos, if he plays his cards right, if he times this well, will get himself a gift of a backstab. Mo starting to think, with the time that's gone, maybe he smells a rat somewhere on this server. A low HP Alex is still lurking around, but Kadeo will deal with him. So 2-on-2, Mo will make the rotation around. He'll hear these footsteps. They're planting in the open. That's a gift of a frag. You can't do that. And Alex, he's got to clutch it up. There's nothing he can do. Again, Movi just give it away to K23. The open plant makes it all too easy.
Why would you plant there? I don't understand. Like, there's literally, if you plant to the right of that, he has to wallbang you. If you plant for short, you're fine, but that's the only play. You don't know market's clear. You can't take that risk. It just seems like Movistar Riders are making some unbelievable mistakes. Like, taking the bomb solo on ramp. Like, ramp aggression is one of the most common things in this entire map. So, I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah, this isn't a pretty look. Keos, auto shotgun, running up underpass to try and get the backstab. He'll get it as well. Steel goes down. This is not the start
Movistar Riders. This is not looking like the norm for this squad. And they have gone after plant somehow, but seeming like it's almost been allowed. The T side not really caring about the financial state of their opponents anymore. Alex does at least manage to get one, but Neelan's just being patient. Larson's found another. It's starting to get a little bit close as Alex looks to try and clutch this one out. He's dodged the incendiary, but he won't dodge the bullets. And although it's a nice attempt, in isolation, we'd probably be calling this a good round. The fact is it's 12-2. So it's not going to play a part other than getting some extra cash ready. Again, you can, of course, go down to the banner below, and your first deposit will gain you a bonus. So make sure you check that out on the panels below the stream.
Yeah. This is starting to look a bit of a procession at the moment. K23, you can see they're just brimming with confidence. Everything they're doing at the moment is working. Mo pressured out of the mid control, at least for now, as Movi are trying to pile it on over towards B. Heavy stack to try and get it done. But again, look at the rotations. K23, so much presence over towards this B bomb site. Kadeo anchoring it down again. Mo, already out of mid, is here to back him up. Neelan holding short control with the Molotov as well. This is so brutal. Mo will be dealt with by Alex, but the nade actually trades his death. And so simply, it's 13-2 on the board. K23, they're just making it look so easy. You said anybody can show up. Kadeo has shown up despite being the B anchor, which is not something you'd normally expect. Keos has had a blinder. And once again, Movi, they're just not here at the moment.
Yeah, I think in the last map we got a few players showing up towards the end with an overall strong performance from Norbert. This map we've had everyone. It just seems to be who gets to the kills first gets them. Like Norbert, he hasn't been that star this time, but he's only died 4 times in the entire map, so it's not seen anyone. It is a ridiculous showing from them, and I think that K23 have peaked at the perfect moment. I think Movistar Riders have disappeared at the wrong time. They need a phenomenal comeback on their CT side. Alex, good position, but nothing connected. Norbert, he might turn his back to an opponent, though, as Larson will be able to find one before he fades back into the smoke. They've also got to be careful of the peak coming in from behind, but Norbert's still doing damage. It's an awkward fight as Larson has to try and avoid his opponent. The bomb actually not going to be covered, though, and that could be a big problem. Nilan now basically needing to get a couple of kills here. The first goes his way. The second almost. Steel dangerously low on HP. It's mainly the player in CT that's causing them issues. Shocks in pistol rounds. We've seen him before. He tried a 1v4 CT pistol and managed to pretty much kill every single member of K23, and with the bomb dropped, they need to try and retrieve it. They're just fighting him, and the teammates nowhere to be seen. Steel is just sat back, now having to try and face off in a 1 versus 2 situation. He rounds the corner, spots his opponent, but the bomb will be going down. There is nothing he can do about that. And with just 22 HP, a single bullet from the Glock will be enough to kill him off. He's going to try and use the smoke to at least gain some ground, to get a little bit closer, potentially isolate the duel. But Mo is just not going to peek. And in fact, they've gone past each other. Nilan's going to come around behind him. This is over. There is absolutely no way he gets away with this. Nilan has big-brained it. He's come up from behind and eventually will close the round. 14-2. K23 are just 2 rounds away from winning this grand final and making it look easy.
Yeah, talk about peaking at the right time. K23, they are just on fire at the minute. Movistar, there is nothing they can do. Everything K23 do is just touch with gold. Neelan there pushing through the smoke, 2v1. Sometimes you go, that's a bit of an awkward play. That's a bit of a bold call, but they just transition right past each other, and Steel then immediately gets backstabbed. He has no idea what's hitting him. He's not expecting a player to be towards those stairs. And as a result, Movi are on an awkward force buy to try and prevent map and series point. And then, well, Kadeo, just to rub salt in the wounds, finds himself an opening pick. Mothpol's one of those players we were looking to be the star of the show, has fallen early. And Kadeo is looking to probe even further over towards this B bomb site. No real A presence at all for K23, but there's nobody to punish it as Kadeo gets a second. He's just opened up this entire bomb site. K23 are just brawling. They just want to pad the stats at this point. As far as they're concerned, it's a done deal. The bomb will make its way up short. Larson not connecting with the scout, and the CTs, they're nowhere near. There's nothing they can do to prevent this round. They'll look for frags where they can get them. Larson will hit a beautiful shot onto Norbert to open things up, but there needs to be so much more to even give them a hope in this. And honestly, yeah, Movi, they're just looking to save. They want to keep this scout, keep this deagle, and give themselves something to fight with to prevent a K23 sweep.
Well, it's a depressing moment in a grand final where you're looking at a 15-2 scoreline, and well, you got a player saving a scout and another saving a deagle. It pretty much sings the story of what has gone down in this match. And K23, unless they just basically turn off their internet, they've got this in the bag. They've been by far the better squad. No competition in this grand final from start to finish. They are now just 1 round away from taking themselves through a $17,500 Christmas present. And their opponent, sure, second place, $7,500. It's not bad. It's not bad, but they have definitely taken a huge loss today. K23 just needing to close things out. AKs across the board, not taking any risks, not giving their opponents any hope. We will see an investment in, of course. Steel and Shocks at least able to get rifles, but the fact is, this is the only time we may be seeing rifles on the Movistar Riders side.
It makes for grim reading, and an isolated Alex actually manages to find the first headshot. Norbert goes down over towards Palace. That's the start they needed. Starting to thin the numbers early makes those SMGs, Deagles, all the more potent. Opportunity to overwhelm the opposition. Man down though, make it 2. Shocks on the short peak. Larson not quite connecting again with the scout, but manages to get out of there in good time. 5v2. Pretty perfect start for Movistar Riders, and K23
Come back.
left reeling a bit. Yeah, okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves
Oh!
here. Kadeo looks at him, sees him, but can't quite take him out. No idea what happened there. And Mo, well, 1v5, Movistar. They'll certainly be taking it one round at a time. This one should be in the bag. I think at this point, Mo, just got to look for damage. How many players can you take with you to the grave? How difficult can you make the next round by for Movistar? Because this one, well, it's a start for the Spaniards.
Yeah, if there wasn't so much time, I would just say save. He's got enough to drop another AK as well, so that would be 3 AKs going into the next round, rather than if he dies, well, he gets a little bit of extra cash, and he's basically in the same place he already is, so it's not a bad spot. Of course, K23, they've got 12 more rounds to try and just win a single one. I think on the T side of Mirage, we're not looking at something like a train where I feel like things can get desperately out of control. Chances are this is going to continue in the same vein, but maybe Movistar can at least make it look a little bit more respectable. Make, from an outside view, people think that they competed in this match, because it is not the case. And if they do bring it back, it will probably be the greatest comeback in the history of all Counter-Strike. But let's be real. I think that if there were odds at the moment on screen, they would literally just say 1 for K23 and probably about 4 billion for the side of Movistar Riders. Not that any respectable company would put that number up, but those are the realistic numbers you'd be expecting in this sort of case.
And that right there is why you're a caster and don't work at a betting company. But K23,
For sure.
not in a bad spot. 3 AKs, couple of Deagles behind it. They can do damage. This round could get messy very, very quickly. Not looking to take it at any real pace. A slow start initially. They do get some mid-control. Probing towards the B-apps through Kadeo, who was absolutely huge. He's actually going to start poking his way through the smoke, and yeah, they'll be expecting that. An opener for Mopos. A second comes in for Steel on the AK-47. This is better from Movi Riders. They're starting to trade more efficiently. Another quick headshot coming in from Alex. The adjustment on the spray is good. Keels gets the first frag of the round for K23. This one again should be in the bag. One round at a time is all Movistar Riders will be thinking. The fourth feels pretty much secured unless Keels can pull off some absolute antics. With 43 seconds left, he's left in roughly the same position that Mo was in the previous, debating if saving that AK, looking for the hero in the next round is worthwhile, or if instead he will try and go for damages. Just slowly making his way towards these B apartments. Mopos on an awful angle for the T side to clear, though. Keels, he's going to be stuck between a rock and a hard place. The hot flash will go through. He'll go ahead of it, but it won't matter. Mopos, fully blind on the spray down, will connect. And Movi, they're not going to go out just yet.
Yeah, not really going to be much of an investment here for K23 either, so they should be at least getting to 5 or 6 rounds without really too much trouble. The thing as well for K23 is financially, even going into the next round, they're only going to have the bare bones AKs and a few grenades here and there, so not going to be seeing any AWPs just yet, and a chance to build up some confidence for Movistar Riders, because thus far, well, they've just looked weak even individually. Like, they've not been playing well. This time, though, Shocks, nice little spray down. Clears out pretty much everybody, but they get a bomb plant. So scrap everything I said about their finances. It doesn't actually matter. Not really sure what Nilan was doing. I guess he just didn't want to die in this round, wants to keep his stats a little bit higher, but it's not going to make any difference. Again, the CT side are comfortably going to be able to buy. Of course, you can still get your bonus down below on the panels from Parry Match, so you can click those. There's also one for the Hellcase site as well, so that's something at least.
Here we go then. Buy coming out. Mo not able to get the AWP as you said, but gets a scope regardless. Krieg comes out. Aggression. Mopos on the AWP, managing to get it done. Again, a nice opening pick for Movistar Riders. They've definitely looked like they've got more legs on their CT side of Mirage. Already a man up. Pressure on as Kadeo falls. And honestly, K23 don't have a lot to work with here. No real control over towards the B apartments. That AWP has fended them off there. Nothing towards middle whatsoever. And just a palace lurk in the form of Norbert. Not looking like it's quite clicking on that T side yet for K23. Of course, plenty of time to correct it, as we will keep pointing out. Certainly bought themselves the opportunity as now the smokes come in towards middle, just trying to keep the rotations honest. They're not even going to pressure it too heavily. Kios will make his way through underpass to potentially find something, but they've bled a good amount of util as they do look, K23, to group up over towards that B-bomb site. 3 players queuing up in the apartments, clearing the early angles, making sure that AWP of Mopos can do no more. And it's going to be onto Larson to catch him in transition. He finds Mo, and that pressure is really starting to ramp. Norbert finds the release valve of the first, but he needs so much more than that. Bomb is going to struggle to go down. Mopos and Shocks already rotating into position, and Mopos straight out of the kitchen door is going to find the pick onto Norbert. It's falling apart again. A missed shot from Neelan, and he's going to get tapped down by Alex. Keel's left in the clutch, and he can only find the one. The gap is down to single digits. 9 rounds now for K23 to shut this one out, and Movistar, all credit to them, they are starting to look like a team that could contest this.
Yeah, very, very long way to go, but at least looking good on their CT side. Not going to be much invested once again from K23, but it's still just the case of they need just one cheesy round, one silly strategy, one mistake from Movistar, and that's it. It would be a pretty cool way to win themselves a grand final, winning 12 rounds, 13 rounds in a row, but chances are there will be a blip. There will be a mistake. There will be a slip. Probably not in this round, though. Alex, pretty easy cleanup, as said. They've started to pretty much hit their stride on an individual level, at least. Everybody's starting to pad those stats, and the T's really not showing much at all. You have to think how much of a different game this could have been if they'd started on the opposite sides. Of course, it doesn't really work like that, because that would have meant that K23 would have had to choose to start the T side, which I don't know why they would do that. Interested that Cadio has actually only invested into a smoke. Has enough money for the remaining grenades, but has decided against it. I assume that means he's going to do something incredibly aggressive. Larson on the angle. They expect him, though, and he doesn't hit the shot. Like, he's waiting for those players. He needs to connect. And now Shocks is going to fall as well. This could be the beginning of the end, as it's left down to just 2 players. Alex finds a trade, but Cadio is clean, and Alex is going to have to kill off everyone. It is not happening. K23, the Kazakhstanian, Belgium, Russian mix, have won themselves the grand final of the European Development Championships. They will take themselves home. Actually, not only $17,500, but also a boot camp in Malta. Of course, I'm going to hazard a guess and say that is courtesy of Gaming Malta. Otherwise, I would be very, very surprised if anybody else was putting that up. But huge congratulations to them. I have to feel for Movistar Riders, because I just don't think they turned up in this grand final. It was a sloppy day. It was a day I think they're going to be wanting to forget, but they still got away with $7,500, and they've done well in the league. They've eliminated some good teams along the way, Wolfie.
Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be some disappointment from them because, as you said, they have taken out some bigger names. They've done some bigger feats than this, and they just weren't in the server today. It was unfortunate, but all credit to K23. They punished it. Sometimes when teams don't show up, you've got to put them down, and K23 did that in spectacular fashion. They made it look so easy. The individual showed up in such a big way, and I'm actually really excited to see what this team can do with a boot camp in Malta, with some time to really develop some more in-depth strategies, start to really flesh out that map pool as well. I think if they can get something like Mirage, I mean, it feels weird saying this after watching that performance on Mirage, but if they can flesh out their Mirage a bit further, if they can get some more bones behind, some meat on that strategy, then it really does feel like they could be a serious challenger in the Tier 2, Tier 3 scene.
Yeah, for sure. And I think especially like if they get to use it going into some sort of LAN event, like that would be a pretty nice for them to get themselves through. Of course, that is it for the tournament. K23 are your champions. Of course, we've got to give a shout out to the guys at Gaming Malta, Parry Match, Grid, Hellcase, Eden Esports, and of course, Fantasy Expo, who have helped put all of this on behind the scenes. It has been a great tournament. It's been an interesting one. We've seen some teams that I didn't necessarily know too much about, the likes of the Budapest 5 getting a lot further than expected. A few teams even falling a little bit flat. And we've had plenty of talent join us along the way. Thank you very much for everybody behind the scenes for making it possible. Again, congratulations to the likes of K23. And hopefully we're going to see you over in our second season. But nonetheless, that is it for today. There's a lot of Counter-Strike on, so go watch some other Counter-Strike. Go watch some other games, maybe. There's plenty to do today. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Goodbye.